Hello, hello! Welcome back to Brenda's Books. This season I will be narrating for you the future war love story, Sara's War, which you can also buy a printed copy and a digital copy at Barnes & Noble and on Amazon. So, without further ado, here is Chapter 12, Killer Whales. It's a relief to have Lexy with us in the workout room, because now I won't look so much like a guppy next to a killer whale, i.e. Colonel Haskins. But I'm also nervous because Lexy is almost like a killer whale herself. Lexy and the Colonel chat easily as the three of us meander down a narrow aisle, passing several rows of treadmills and ending at the back wall, where weights of all sizes are lined up in perfect order. Colonel Haskins removes his army-decorated shirt and lays it on a bench press beneath the high windows. I gape at the sight of him. His perfect musculature stands out like a laser. I can pick out every single muscle in his arms, his shoulders, his chest, his stomach. There is no way that stomach is real. No way! I turn to face the wall so no one can see my cheeks burning. Thankfully, I already have my own tank top and shorts on underneath my uniform, so I can dress down easily. I work on my bicep curls without looking at either of my contenders. Relax, Sara. You're not competing, I remind myself. I want to laugh out loud. When has anything in my life not been a competition? Medical school certainly was. Thinking back to my teenage years when I was in dance academy, we literally competed once a month. Then there were nutcracker auditions, AP tests, what have you. It all seems to be one long, never-ending competition. But all of those things pale in comparison to the rivalry in the army. It's a subtle rivalry, but forceful nonetheless. Lexy stands a couple feet away from me, starting her own bicep curls now. Even through the corner of my eye, I can see her biceps are about 3 times the size of mine. Colonel Haskins is on the other side of me. I'm curious to see how much he is lifting, but I force myself not to look. This is so humiliating. Never before in my life have I ever cared that someone was stronger than me, and yet here I am, as self-conscious as ever. The three of us converse some as we continue lifting. Colonel Haskins tells Lexy that I just saved Harrison from having a second stroke. Really? You did that? You removed an artery, whatever? Lexy asks, totally shocked. Yep, I reply casually. Relief has been like an ER ever since I arrived. Wow, that's a nice welcome for you. Hey Haskins, have you heard from Min Yoon? I listen intently to their conversation, although I pretend otherwise. They talk about people and places I don't recognize, but the names all sound Korean. They must have served in Korea together at some time. It's obvious they're being careful and very non-specific with what they say, and for this reason, I do my best not to pry. Neither one of them mentions the huge difference in weight we pump, but I'd be an idiot if I thought they didn't notice. When we move on to bench pressing, I do peek to see how much they're lifting. Here I am, hefting my meager 65 pounds, which is killing me, with Lexy on my left lifting 135 pounds, and the Colonel on my right lifting 295 pounds. Oh my, I admire in silence. How is that possible? Naturally, I'm the first one to bow out of conversation in order to just breathe, and eventually the others do too. Along with the strain in my pectorals, I feel very uneasy. Why is everything bothering me so much? I force my mind to be reasonable. Does it matter that I'm a weakling? Not really. Do Colonel Haskins or Lexy care that I am? Probably not. Okay, problem solved. I won't worry about it anymore. At least that's what I tell myself. It's no surprise that I'm the first one to quit. The muscles in my chest burn and my arms are shaking. If I were to do one more rep, the bar would have smashed my face, no doubt about it. I stand up, endeavoring not to breathe like a tired horse. I stare at the two monsters beside me and shake my head in awe. Lexy stops now and immediately grabs her water bottle, lying on the floor next to her, and starts chugging. She reaches into her backpack and fumbles around for something. "Lexy, where do you come from?" I ask. She looks up at me, still breathing hard. "What? 135 pounds? Are you sure you're human?" I tease. I really am impressed with her. Lexy doesn't look like she weighs a whole lot more than she can lift. Never in my life have I seen a woman so small and so muscular. Lexy smiles wide as she understands the compliment, and pulls out an unopened water bottle from her backpack and tosses it to me. I catch it just as the colonel places his weights and sits up. "And you? Let's not even go there," I exclaim, batting a hand at him. Colonel Haskins smiles briefly as he catches another one of Lexy's flying water bottles. "We've had more training than you," he pacifies as he pops open the lid. "Yeah, I'll say," I agree. I wrench open my lid and take a few big gulps of my own. "Doctors don't need muscles, really," Lexy says in between swallows. "And neither do Barbies." She winks as she takes another drink. "What?" I ignore her implication and take another swig of water. I glance at the colonel, who takes a longer drink than normal. "You did fine," he says to me as he finishes. "Oh, great. Now they're trying to make me feel better. That's not what I was going for." Lexy ribs the colonel for a minute, saying that his muscles really are just a fake bodysuit, and that he rigged the weights with styrofoam. "The number of times I have beat you in a leg wrestle proves I am stronger than you," Lexy taunts him. "That's because you're more flexible," the colonel says. "You only wish," Lexy goads, winking at me again. The colonel grabs a towel from the cubbies and wipes his head. "Whatever you say, princess," he says with a smirk. Lexy points a finger at him. "Don't you dare start that." Colonel Haskins just grins and gives his head another good scrubbing. "Well, enjoy your run, you two," Lexy says. "See you around, Sara, doctor, you know." And with that, she waves goodbye and gracefully slides out the back door, leaving me alone with the bulldozer man. Awkwardness fills the air as soon as Lexy is gone. I don't know why it's awkward. We're adults, right? It shouldn't be that hard to have a conversation. I force myself to think of questions to ask the colonel. "So, how long did you train before you could lift 300 pounds? "Long enough," he replies as he swings his towel over a bench. That was very specific." He lets out a low chuckle. "I really don't remember. Are you ready to run?" "Whenever you are." We walk side by side down the long aisle of equipment. "Before you came to Big Rock, you were a line medic in Tallahassee, right?" asks the colonel. "That's correct." "You must have seen a lot of action out there so close to the fight," he says, glancing in my direction. I grimace as flashes of nearly dead people run through my mind. "Yes, sir." "And you never told anyone about your expertise?" "I suppose they figured it out along the way, but there really wasn't time to sit down and explain my credentials, if you know what I mean. Besides, I was basically doing a doctor's work anyway," I explain. "But you weren't getting paid for it," the colonel counters. "You're right about that. I definitely wasn't." A sad wave rushes through me as I think of the money I could have sent to Mom and Dad. "Here we are," says the colonel, as we reach the large section of scattered treadmills. Just 3 other people are running, and all 3 are staring at us. Colonel Haskins tells me to use the treadmill closest to the front as it runs the smoothest. There is a loud beep as the 2 of us set our individual speeds. I increase my speed a few decimals higher than normal. "When were you promoted to a lieutenant colonel?" I ask, as the 2 of us start jogging. "Just 6 months ago, right before I came to Big Rock," he replies. I remember the day before I flew into the base, the major who organized the transfer had told me about the nosedive Big Rock was. He also said it had promise because of the new lieutenant colonel. Now I know who he was talking about. "You must be the reason this place is pulling upward." Colonel Haskins' jaw hardens. "It's certainly not up to par yet." Then I realize how much faster than me he is. I recall a time when Ryan and I went for a run together, and he said, "Sara, I can walk faster than this." I sigh as I increase my speed 0.2 of a mile. This is going to kill me. I don't know how long we run, but it's quite a while. I'm proud that I keep going, though, even with my faster speed. I have more adrenaline today, and it feels good to get it out like this. Finally, the Colonel's pounding feet slow down to a walk. "Do you ever stop?" "Oh, sure, would you like to?" I slow down my own pace as well. "Don't quit for me. I'd love to see how long you can go, but I am definitely done," he says as he steps down from his machine. "Me too," I pant. I jump off before the treadmill stops. The stationary ground feels abnormal to me. My head is still spinning with the walking belt. "That almost killed me," I confess. "Really? You didn't slow down once." I smile. "Neither did you, sir," I say as I try to calm my breathing. The Colonel raises his eyebrows in disbelief. "Are you making fun of me, Dr. Andrews?" "What?" "No, sir." Colonel Haskins looks at me with suspicion. "Either you're a good liar or you're very unobservant." I furrow my brow, completely confused. "Sir, you'll have to explain. I would never dream of being insubordinate to you." The Colonel stares at me for a moment, his chest heaving up and down, and then he shakes his head at the ground, chuckling deeply. "You really didn't notice how often I walked?" he asks, looking back up at me. I swallow hard. I guess I'm pretty focused when I run. It's kind of like doing surgery. Not much can break my concentration. Colonel Haskins chuckles again and brushes the back of his hand against his wet forehead. "Okay, I suppose I can understand that." "How long did we run?" I ask, looking around for a clock. "You ran 95 minutes, he says, and then he raises his arms up in the air. "And you didn't even slow down." I can't help but chortle. "Well, why did you stop me, sir? I might have broken a record." The Colonel cracks a smile as he runs his hand through his hair, and then he sighs. "Can I share something personal with you, Doctor?" Sure." I hate that women don't sweat. I laugh out loud, trying to keep my eyes off his sopping head. "If only that were true, Colonel." "Let's go get our things," he says. "I need a towel." And that concludes Chapter 12. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back next year on Thursday, January 9th, for Chapter 13, which is called Chicken. I love this chapter so much. And I also hope you have a very Merry Christmas, or very Happy Hanukkah, or anything else you might celebrate right now, and a very Happy New Year's and all of that, and that you have lots of people you love to share it with. Happy holidays, and I'll see you next time. Take care.